I have 6 3 pages detailing exactly why you cannot build that shed. It's a clear violation.
Well, I have the property title.
At 12:06 a.m. on May 3, 2024, my doorbell exploded like an alarm, and when I opened my porch door, 3 flashlights hit my face and the cold night air tasted like wet asphalt. My dog went feral behind my legs. Standing on my doormat was Karen from 2 houses down, flanked by 2 HOA board guys who looked half asleep, holding a thick stack of papers like it was a warrant. Karen's perfume mixed with stale coffee breath as she snapped, "New rules. You're already in violation." She shoved the stack toward me so hard the top pages fluttered in the wind. Behind them, a neighbor's Ring camera light clicked on, bright and silent, like it was ready to testify. I was still in my socks, staring at my porch like it suddenly belonged to someone else. Karen kept talking, fast and sharp, pointing at my porch swing, my welcome mat, my little flag planter. She said my porch light was the wrong shade of white and my trash can was visible for 7 minutes after pickup. Then she said the line that made my stomach drop, "If you don't sign tonight, we fine you tomorrow. And we can put a lien on your house." I remember thinking, who storms a porch at midnight with paperwork? That's when it hit me how crazy this was, and I muttered the whole mess out loud like a confession. HOA stormed my porch at midnight waving 63 pages of new rules. Then I filed the title search. Karen's smile got wider, like she loved the sound of it, like it was her movie. The next morning, I tried to be normal about it. I emailed the board at 9 a.m., polite, calm, even used the word please. I asked for the rule source and the meeting minutes that approved them. No one answered. At 6:30 p.m., I walked to the clubhouse with my copy of my deed and my mortgage papers, because I'm not some cartoon villain, I'm a guy who just wants to grill and pay my bills. The room was packed, but quiet. People avoided eye contact like Karen had trained them. One older man whispered, "Don't make her mad, she calls people in." When I spoke, the board president stared past me like I was a stain on the wall. Karen sat in front, tapping a pen, smirking. I said, "I'm not refusing rules, I'm asking what gives you the right to make them." Karen leaned back and said, "We have plenty of rights. You moved into our neighborhood. That's it. That's the deal." And the room stayed scared. That's when my patience snapped, not loud, just deep. I went home and drew a line in my head. I promised myself I would stay lawful and use proper channels only, because I like my freedom and my job and my peace. But I was done begging. Karen wanted paperwork? Fine. I can do paperwork. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I counted it all like I was building a case, because that's what it felt like. 9 violations in 14 days, all from the same email chain. 3 surprise inspections where they walked up my side yard and peeked over my fence. 1 note on my windshield that said comply or pay. I even kept screenshots of Karen's texts to other neighbors, the ones that ended with LOL. If she wanted to play board games, I would bring the whole table. On May 8, 2024, at 10:12 a.m., I drove to the county office with the smell of hot pavement coming through my vents and a knot in my stomach. I paid $42 for copies of plats and old filings, then I paid $250 for a full title search because I wanted facts, not fear. 2 days later, the file landed with 63 pages. I sat at my kitchen table flipping through them like they were a secret diary about my own house. That's when I found it. My lot line was drawn in a way that didn't match the HOA map Karen had been waving around. My parcel was listed as Parcel B, and Parcel B was never added to the HOA in the county record. Not maybe. Not sort of. It was clean and plain, like a stop sign. I wrote it down in big letters. Then I wrote another thing in big letters, timeline item 1 April 5 at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. Because yes, someone had called the police on me for walking to my own mailbox in a hoodie, and I had the case number. And I underlined one simple truth for later: patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. On June 10, 2024, at 7 p.m., the HOA held another meeting, and I walked in carrying my binder like it weighed nothing, even though my hands were shaking. Karen saw it and laughed under her breath. She said, "Oh look, he brought homework." I smiled and said, "Yeah. The kind with answers." I asked the board to pull up their HOA boundary map on the projector, and they did, like they were about to embarrass me. Then I slid a copy of the county plat onto the table and asked them to compare it. You could hear phones come out. People started filming. A teenager in the back whispered, "This is gonna be good." The board president squinted. Their lawyer, who was clearly not expecting a surprise quiz, leaned forward. I pointed at the line where the HOA stopped, and then at my parcel number sitting outside it like a joke. I said, "According to county records, you don't govern my lot. You can't fine me. You can't lien me. And if you keep showing up on my property, that's trespass." Karen's face went from smug to tight in about 1 second. She jumped up and barked, "That's not true, he's lying, he's always lying." Then the real twist landed. The lawyer quietly asked her, "Karen, did you file those complaints under your name?" Karen sputtered. The lawyer had the police report number on my timeline and the emails with her signature. 2 officers who had been called just in case stepped closer. One officer said, "Ma'am, we told you last month to stop calling in false reports." Karen's voice cracked, and the room, for the first time, didn't flinch. After that, it spread like wildfire. Someone posted the meeting clip online that night, and by breakfast, my phone was buzzing with neighbors sending laughing emojis and saying, "I wish I had your guts." People who used to look down at their shoes started waving at me again. The board voted right there to void every fine against me, refund my money, and update their records so they stopped bullying the wrong houses. Karen tried to talk over them, but her words were just noise now. A week later, she resigned for personal reasons, which is a fancy way of saying she got caught. The neighborhood felt lighter. Like the air had finally moved. One Saturday, I sat on my porch swing with a cup of coffee and watched kids draw chalk on the sidewalk without their parents scanning for rule enforcers. An older neighbor brought me banana bread and said, "Thank you for standing up." I didn't win with fists or threats. I won with pages, dates, and truth. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.